Okay, so today will I finally be able to play after a whole month of having Sargeras? Basically, I still haven't played him, I don't think, one time. Just like, because I obviously do these short sessions, it's only like an hour, 2 hours a week. And obviously, I'm sometimes doing like some sort of round robin where I can only play with the deck once, so it might not, kind of bugging out with the scrolling. It might not be that I'm always playing as that deck anyway with him in there, but it's surprising. We've had him in our hand, had him burnt by like overdrawing and stuff. So we saw on the on the launcher that there's this straight to wild set, which I don't even know exactly what that means. Like they're doing it for twist, but I don't know why they're bringing up wild then. Jade, Druid, Reno, Warlock, these are all things that you could have done before anyway, though. Wow, all these kind of cool, fun ideas that you could have done in the first place. Now I finally understand why Hardcore Classic had to be released separately or an add-on for it. That people need to be spoon-fed something in order to enjoy it. You could have played these things all these years anyway, but oh no, now it's so cool. Now it's so fun to do. Last week, Omen. Wasn't there another version of Omen? For a hero, I feel like I haven't seen him too often, but this is that bot card back that they always use to show that it's a bot playing. Some kind of AI opponent, which isn't actually, they don't explicitly say it, but you can kind of just guess, I assume is why they do that. So yeah, there'll be this Caverns of Time thing, there'll be Twist is finally back up, which that I only know because I saw like some recommended thing on YouTube, otherwise I really wouldn't know. This is all fine. Play 3 games, Demon Hunter, Paladin, or Shaman. Obviously I'm only playing as Warlock, so I've kind of given up Battle of Encourage. Event starts. How did they just randomly decide to do this shit? What does that have to do with anything? We're in the middle of an expansion involving Sargeras and all this kind of crazy stuff, and you want to go to AQ now? Save that for an Old Gods expansion at least. Let's disenchant everything, obviously, besides the Warlock cards like we've been keeping up with doing. This card was recently modified. Okay, so just give me more dust. I did kind of burn all my dust on that, but it's almost like how in Magic I say, you know, how, you know, oh, I would just disenchant everything to make every green card in the game. But here we could actually do it more reliably. Just like make every Warlock card in the game, which I could have easily done like many times over. But just I always do this where I keep changing my mind and then I'll disenchant every Warlock card and then make something else. And then want to come back and do it all over again. So every time you do that, you shrink your collection by like 75%. Like a moron that I am. Or this is not even the... Whoops. And yeah, I missed out on even getting the card back last time because I... Whatever, that was part of a permadeath challenge. So does that mean the whole month? I guess I was kind of derping around and doing other stuff, but the whole month I didn't win 5 games on the ladder. That's pretty funny. But yeah, this will be my one chance to try to get to Legend with the Renounce Darkness in there, if it would even let you use that. But the way you would have done it is you would have it in a deck that was good anyway, and then just, you know, you would use it against certain aggro decks. That was the one time when it was actually meta. Right, you would use it as if you're against decks that you know you're not going to beat anyway with the way that your deck works. Okay, don't care about all this. This card back does look pretty sick though too. Spellfire Shadow, that should happen pretty easily. Warlock, not going to do anything with that. All this, use your hero power 50 times. 5 games, Tavern Brawl, Arena, Battlegrounds, or Duels. Spend 50 mana, always the hardest conditions to reach. So, Twist is back up, but I'm not really sure what it means as far as the whole thing that they're advertising with the Caverns of Time. I don't know what is a Caverns of Time pack exactly. So we just got that one guy. Is that actually disenchantable? It is. And then this, I tend to not disenchant neutral cards just in case I want to use them later, but a lot of them I probably could do that with. What was it? It was just that legendary I saw. Algalon. Replace your hero power with Algalon's Vision, which is what? Here. See, normally they wouldn't even tell you that. You would just have to wait till you actually see it. Look at the top card of your opponent's deck. You may put it on the bottom. Keep another card on top. Okay, that's fine. have a lot of cool Warlock heroes that we're going to get to see too, like N'Zoth, or no, I mean, we have N'Zoth right now. Mal'Ganis I haven't used, and sort of just giving Warlocks a moment in the spotlight is probably my favorite class in the history of the game, but I've also played as them maybe a little bit too much. But I'll give Renounce Darkness one more chance to shine here. Let's see how far we can get with it. And by saying that, I mean actually actively using it. Like, again, you could just have one copy of it in there and just never use it, and you could get to Legend like that, but that's not what I mean. You'd have to use it every game or almost every game. Sure, some games you might not get to it in time, but you just make an aggro deck and be like, oh, too bad, I beat them every time before I even get it in my hand. Yeah, let me actually look at this for a second. What does it? It's not going to say anything though. 5 Caverns of Time Hearthstone cards, which means what? At least one card will be rare or better. Cards received can be used in Wild, but not in Standard. That is kind of cool that they're doing that, but again, they're not doing it for Wild. They're doing it for the fucking twist, I guess, right? 1 to 50 packs. Golden Caverns of Time. Are they going to be just new cards overall? I don't even understand. I'll just do it because I have gold to burn, I guess. They're treating it like it's almost a new bunch of cards, but I don't see what sense that would make. It should just be any of the wild cards in the history of the game. What the hell happened there? Yes, this is like the old school Hearthstone. It's showing you through the Caverns of Time. Remember when it used to be in this kind of resolution and you couldn't even see the rest of the fucking screen? I guess I have to relaunch. It couldn't handle those packs. I still haven't even heard the N'Zoth voice lines. I'm almost saving it. For so long I wanted to have him, but then obviously I wouldn't have never pre-ordered that thing for 80 bucks that you would have had to do to get him. So he was just randomly on the shop. I always got to look at that in case there is something cool. So what else is on here again? Some of these things look pretty cool, but it's not like I even use the classes to do with them. Like Omen looked pretty badass, but I swear there was another version of him that wants me to do Jade Idol and shit. Like, imagine spending this much gold on something that you're only going to be able to use for a month then, if these twist formats are always different. They've been sort of unclear with how they've done some of this stuff. Like, sure, I deliberately stay out of the loop and in the dark, but... A Blast from the Past. These actually are new cards, though. What kind of weird decision is this? Get 2 spare parts, summon bomb. I guess I don't really care, though. Unless it's a Warlock card, I'm not even going to worry about it. Or no, they're not. Maybe I just don't know all these cards off the top of my head. But some of those looked actually new, and they looked actually like they deliberately make reference to stuff from the Caverns of Time. Now I'm kind of confused. Okay, obviously, yeah, like that. Black Morass Imposter. That does seem, and it even has the icon for it. What does that mean? Twist cards, Titans. Wild sets, Cavern. So let's see what would actually be in there. But this isn't. I'm so confused. This isn't actually from that, though, because this existed before. I don't know. I'm not so much of an expert on a lot of these cards in between because I, stopped playing for so long. Obviously, we know Snipe. Like, what is this? This was never a card in the game. Adapt to your time lost Raptors. Or adapt your time lost Raptors. Much of his time lost, no lifing, Diablo 4. Nice. Nice plug. Each turn, this is in your hand, transform into a random 2-cost minion. This is not even a mage card, though. Okay, get rid of that. Yeah, it's basically just wild cards for the most part. Some of them do seem new, but maybe I just don't know them, which would seem weird, but there are a lot of things that you just don't see very often. Most of it's just garbage anyway. I mean, I can't say no to, Warlock cards in general. That's fine. Get rid of all of these. We got a lot of warrior shit. You got to give the Iron Juggernaut another whirl, but I think we've given him almost too much screen time over the years. See, they have that icon, but that's very disingenuous because now you forget what expansion were some of these things actually from. These are nothing to do with Caverns of Time, dude. Yeah, that's an easy way to make a new expansion. We'll just rebrand every old card as, wow, it's part of that expansion. Look at all these new cards. Yeah, let's see what Twist actually says now. Wonders. Different expansions can be used every month. So what does that mean, though? Which ones can be used? It doesn't even tell you. Does that mean I can use Renounce Darkness? That's the only thing I would care to actually use.
That deck is only for wild games.
Look how unclear it actually is, though. Tap into the Cavern of Time and build the deck using all expansions from Legacy through Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. But doesn't that mean that...
That deck is only for wild.
Step into the Cavern of Time, build the deck using all expansions from Legacy through Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. Which means... Okay, Caverns of Time, Mean Streets, One Night in Karazhan, Whispers of All Gods. Yeah, when did Renounce even come out? I don't even know. Let's see if we can just make one for that specifically. Let's see. Convert to Twist. That's the only thing I actually care about using right now, but it will let me use it. But it just made it kind of awkward, I guess, that way. So the rest of it I don't even care too much about, but just, you know, we'll still give Sargeras a chance. So it'll basically be either if we get to play Sargeras, we'll do it. If we get to play Renounce, we'll do it. More than likely, Renounce will upstage. But last time we had a chance to play either one, and I didn't get to play either of them because I just lost before I got the chance, I guess. Or I was trying to force the imps in here a bit. Yeah, I do like what the Twist format has been, but I don't get what they did with it because it's a case where they sort of didn't let you play it last month, which I don't really get. I almost don't even want to deal with these spells too much, but Voidwalker's good. I don't know. This can sometimes be pretty fun to use, but doesn't mean it's good. Hopefully we can fit in Elise, Trailblazer, and stuff like that. Or this might be a time where Iron Juggernaut is actually good. The problem is these formats won't last long enough. This would be the sort of thing that would make me feel encouraged to do that. Like, you would have to get Legend with the Renounced Darkness, but not just simply having it in your deck like I was saying before, but basically just you'd have to play it every time you get it, and I don't know if you can use Elise here. Like, I should actually check all that. That's basically what I'm trying to make, is just the Elise, Malchezaar, so you get the Ungoro Pack to mix it up. You get the legendaries from Malchezaar to mix it up. You obviously get the class cards from Renounce to mix it up, so it was just a way to affect your deck in a lot of interesting ways. You'd probably have two of the... I don't even know what the whole thing with this deck is, because you're not really building around imps the same way as you normally would be. Yeah, what a way to sort of milk the history of the game. Even though I like that, I just always play wild anyway. So what difference does it make to me? I don't know how much removal I want to have. Not really that much. I guess I won't commit to the M stuff, but look at how the values of this stuff changes so much. That's why it'll be so different in meta. Not because, oh, look at this cool format that you could have been playing in the whole time, kind of. But because the values of a lot of this stuff change anyway. Voidcaller, I don't care too much. I never really liked Bane of Doom either. Can we use like Gul'dan or... No, that would have been much later. Although this felt like it was from later too. I'm so confused what's from what anymore. They're sort of gaming the system a bit. Now Ganis, so we don't have the ability to use... I mean, the main thing I care about is just... Maybe have two of those. The main thing I cared about was just Renounce. Everything else I could care less about. We don't have enough high-cost demons either. Like, is there not something just like a... End of your turn, destroy this if it's the only one? That can sometimes be okay, I guess. Just something very high cost, well statted. Other demons have +1 attack. Destroy all minions, draw a card for each. And that is kind of a fun card, but I don't know whether it's going to be that good. Return all cards you discarded. Let's just do maybe like a couple of those just to have more high status stuff. So the Void Caller also has pretty good value if we want to put that in there. We'll put like maybe one of those, and then we'll look for Elise Starseeker. So he's not going to be in there. And Malcazar should be, right? I really can't remember even where some of these cards fit in. Yeah, like Malcazar would be so overpowered that you're not allowed to use him when he was never good in the first place. We get almost the same sort of thing that I want anyway. Lilitheb is kind of just fun, my style of play. N'Zoth, I don't really have a bunch of death rattles, although I kind of do, I guess. Just if I was to sort of abuse Void Caller. Oh, this makes me want to play Iron Juggernaut, actually. I should do a round robin between that and this. Or like now I can't even use Sargeras at all, so that kind of ruins it that way. I guess I'll just do this. Like there's nothing super exciting about it, but we are obviously trying to do Renounce, and for once it's not going to be completely garbage because obviously you're limited in what formats you can use, so that should be all right. At least we can finally play Twist again. I was so confused why they didn't let you play it last month. Or why not just let you keep playing the same one that you were doing, right? The previous one. So 2 months of that, then 2 months of this, instead of 1 month of this, then 1 month where you just can't play it, and then 1 month of the next one. Like, how hard would it be to just leave it available? You wouldn't be able to use Whizbang or anything like that. I'm just trying to think of all these old school fun cards. But people are still going to try to metagame this or buy whatever stupid shit they have on the shop that arguably wouldn't be that good anyway. But there's no real point of this deck besides just trying to get Renounce. Sometimes it'll have the N'Zoth card back. Sometimes it'll have this. So I'm not even choosing to do it. It's just sort of I'm just letting it go with what it wants to do. Even when you open packs, it changes. Like, you'll open one pack, it'll be one card back. Then you'll open the next one, it'll be a different one. I don't know why the hell that happens. Look at us, both showing off our legend card back that you can barely even see. That you automatically just have to respect that you'd be having fun with it. This is such a good thing, but unfortunately, this is sort of how I play Wild anyway, where I'll make sort of fun and themed and limited stuff. But the problem is that, you know, nobody really plays it like that, so you can't really get too far with it. Be some kind of pirate nonsense, but it won't be the true pirate warrior that we saw before. This is a pretty good value just to trade in. But there, again, there is no rhyme or reason or theme to the deck aside from trying to stockpile cards at the beginning and trying to basically do Renounce Darkness, which I may or may not actually get to do. I mean, we'll just try to keep decent value. This is almost the sort of thing you would use in Classic, just sort of flooding the board and trying to get value. Are we going to see, like, Justicar and stuff? Because that should be in here, too, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, why wouldn't it be? Or they'll make certain rules where some things are excluded still, but it wouldn't be very viable, probably, still. For some reason, that was just always one of my favorite effects because it was so game-changing. It was like the original hero card stuff. Oh, come on. Why should patches be allowed in that? I don't even get it. I guess that's part of the Caverns of Time thing where they'll allow certain cards in there that otherwise wouldn't be. My whole dimensions on what came out when is completely wrong, I guess. I've completely forgotten. Yeah, this is fine. Would have been nice to have just gotten Renounce a little bit sooner, though. Then again, you're tempted to fill up your hand, so that can sometimes be difficult. We can just survive the early game. We should be fine. Just sort of slows down the pace of the games a bit and makes it a little more where you have to actually play on the board and just sort of appreciate it in a minimalistic point of view, which is always my philosophy anyway. Even when they do a good mode, they kind of ruin it somehow by either making it too short, you can only do it for 1 month, or they'll keep changing it, or they'll keep doing the stupid stuff on the shop to make it feel like you're wasting your money on something that you can only use for a certain amount of time. Of course, you could keep those cards for wild anyway, but that's exactly the sort of thing you should do regardless. Like, if everyone was like me, nobody would play standard anyway. Even if you were going to play the current meta, you would just... I mean, that's at least well statted. I guess I could have tapped into a demon and done that. So we're going to get the epic value of Malchezaar. So I'm going to guess that their deck doesn't have like a great late game win condition, because if it is a lot of these older cards, you're not going to see that as much. So if you survive the early game, you'll actually be fine. That's the beauty of it. What you see is what you get. Meanwhile, today, I call one of the hunter decks an aggro deck, and then it has like these fucking 14 elephants and all this kind of crazy crap. I don't know whether that's just the nature of power creep now, or whether that actually was an aggro deck or not. Look at this, actually playing on the board. Amazing, my dream come true. That's perfect, because you get to play right into, if you kill that, I get a free 7 thing, although I could have just played it outright, but I'll save it almost for the AoE. We do have at least a couple well-statted demons in here. There weren't actually that many, though, that you could make, unless we want to use like a neutral one. Right, like we have a couple 7/7s, we have the 1/5/9 guy, taunt, give everything +1 attack. Infinite Amalgam, Inspire, Frenzy, Spellburst, Honorable Kill. Okay, now it's a little bit late to do Renounce, I'll be honest with you. Or the whole point is you would do the effect, but then you wouldn't get anything from it, so it kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? But I guess I'll do it just for the AoE anyway. It seems like a dumb play, but puts me in a decent spot, although I am pretty low, so we could try to do Renounce to be able to heal or something. This is a perfect opportunity to play it, actually. I wish I had more time, that we would actually make a push for something. I doubt you'd be able to get too far with it, but the point is at least you'd be able to get farther than you normally would, because this is the sort of thing I would use exactly in Wild anyway. Probably still gonna lose, though. I have so many goddamn AoEs, but it still doesn't do anything for me. Wait. Why did those just go away? So it took my class cards and it just destroyed them. Wait, what? Oh, what a cool interaction. Because you can't use Death Knight cards in this format because Death Knight didn't exist, it just removes the cards from the game. But also that doesn't make sense either, because what about the cards in my deck? Why would I have so many still? I'm so confused. I guess I won't be able to see. So that's kind of a unique interaction. The game is so bugged that it lets you get Death Knight cards that you're not allowed to have, so it just doesn't know what to do, so it just takes them away. Amazing. Our first game of Twist and we already find a bug. But then you would think our deck would just be empty, so I also still don't know what happened there. Like, obviously Death Knight should be taken out of the possibilities of what they can give you if... I guess I'm not really doing any kind of round robin this time. Okay, this is what I want to see. Yes. Give me as many Warlock cards as I can get. Or even if you don't give me Warlock cards, just give me a full hand, period. Yeah, is anybody else going to be using Malchezaar? Just in the spirit of fun. Yeah, we still won't get to play Sargeras, but for a different reason here. You just like tap for 2 or 3 turns in a row, because that's totally not costly. I can't afford to even play the Fellstalker. Playing Cthulhu again, fine. That was kind of an insular, contrived mechanic that I was never too big a fan of.
Do you hear its call?
Now, this is a very dangerous way to start, but I think I can still deal with it. In fact, that's maybe good enough. Let's go like this. Go like this. And then hopefully we get a few things to play immediately that would just be good for, you know, just to try to survive right now. Even though you could trade in pretty easily. Destroy minion, add a random minion to in his hand. So we have a couple good removal cards. The problem is you sometimes run dry on cards, so you have to hope you get card draw and stuff from it too. Could I play like maybe 2 cards? Choose one to gain empty mana crystal, draw a card. Draw 6 health. Have to wait till next turn to do that. Draw 2 cards. Minions drawn cost 2 less. Let's just do this. And then draw a card, and hopefully I can just survive this out. That would be very cool as well. I mean, the reduced value at some point almost makes it seem like, oh, this is not so bad, but it's not going to have any sort of synergy, or sometimes it can come together with these synergies that are very cool that, you know, otherwise would not be possible or whatever. I mean, doesn't really seem worth it, but there wouldn't have been anything else I can do about it anyway. So now I'm going to be very short on a removal for what he's about to have. Yeah, I just don't have enough stuff to deal with this. Gain an empty mana crystal, not really the right time for it. Give me something with a taunt. 6-4. That's okay, I guess. This 3-4 is just going to stick around till the end of time, though. You can hit me for 10, 11. Choose one thing is not really too relevant right now. So many cost value changes that they made too that would totally, you know, change how this would work. So some things would be busted that otherwise wouldn't be because... Wait, why are his stats uneven there? I guess I could try to do this just to get something that'll actually help me. Control a minion with 5 or more, gain +2/+2. 7/7, like, those are both good, but of course they'll just kill me, so it doesn't matter. That was a killer turn right there. Right, that you almost wouldn't be able to do normally. But just cynically, he'll just take me out. He won't play with a sense of honor. Hard to like bronze 10 even twist with all these older decks. But like, nothing they're using is that crazy though so far. Or it'll be sort of stuff that we've already seen anyway. But no, certain stuff will be overpowered now because some of the cost values have changed. Like you even see Siphon Soul as a 4 cost. Like, they're not going to revert back to the old cost despite that maybe being appropriate given the time, the expansions that you're playing in here.
Nazoth versus Tyrande.
Queen Hajara demands your rebuke.
All eyes shall be open.
Ironic confrontation. Some sort of, yeah, she's our handmaiden. Like, you know, this you should almost just keep for the raw value of it, but I want Renounce, so, you know, like if they had a falling out and Nazoth wanted to discipline Hajara, punish her. At least we got to play Renounce, so that in itself is fun, and we did see some kind of cool interactions with it, but it didn't get to last long enough to really do anything with it.
Shocking.
As if I wouldn't be using that anyway. I'd be using it in standard if I could. See, like, stuff like that annoys me because why wouldn't you be allowed to use stuff like that? Like, people are always paranoid or something with, oh no, it's got to be balanced. Who would be using Renounce Darkness and why would it be good? It wouldn't be good, so let me use it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter that it's an older card. Like, it sucks. But people are always weird, like, oh, it's got to be perfectly balanced, and like, you'll create some weird, crazy combination that'll ruin the meta, as if the meta isn't always stale and imbalanced anyway. But we could still get Renounce. We might have to use Siphon Soul on this chick. which for only 4 cost almost seems like that's okay.
Is someone injured?
The old Northshire Cleric. When have we seen Northshire Clerics be this good as of late? Makes you appreciate all the little things. Almost doesn't seem worth it, but I have nothing else to play anyway. If we can just last a little bit longer, we do have some good high cost stuff. Yes, a time when priests were only mildly annoying because control actually felt like control instead of just way over the top.
Light sings, and the impure fall.
Overheal, draw a card, fine. I mean, even getting the legendaries from Malchezaar is almost something that only benefits control. Like one of the few ways to impact your deck before the fucking, you know, before Renounce, that was the only way to increase your deck size. So sometimes priests would use it just for that reason alone, because you know it's going to go the distance and you're going to try to deck your opponent out anyway. So they do absolutely nothing, huh? Now let's see, how much removal is the priest going to have in this context? I like how my bad memory or whatever, just me staying out of the loop with stuff so long, or all this stuff is so old anyway, that it still keeps it pretty fresh for me. Like, I obviously know everything that they're going to be using, but I guess I don't know it off the top of my head. So now they're going to use some kind of AoE shit. Reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, return this to your hand. That would at least be something safe to play. That even if you were to clear the board now, I could potentially get that back. Yeah, play around that.
The multitudes cry.
That's what the stage of this game is in. Like, just have fun, have a blast, use N'Zoth, use Mal'Ganis, all these kind of fun things, use sexy card backs, just show everything off, use Renounce. Like, you're not trying to, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you're just having a party with the game. You're not really trying to take it seriously or do anything with it.
The multitudes cry out.
Shocking.
You're just kind of dicking around is the point. I don't really want to play anything with that. Although I guess I could still do this. Go like this, go like this. So our board is pretty good. We have plenty of good things in my hand too. Your hero's immune, other demons have +2/+2. Like, I don't want to overcommit if they do some crazy AoE, but it doesn't matter because I can still... Oh, that's not gonna do shit for you right now. Now it's a 5 mana 4/4. This is what trying to balance a card game looks like. You just keep doing these random things. Instead of 6 mana 5/5, now it's 5 mana 4/4. Then it'll be something else the next time I look. Like, give me a break. I mean, I almost want to do... Now let's do this one, and then we'll save... we'll save Mal'Ganis for something else. I kind of am overcommitting on the board, but it doesn't seem like they have an answer for it. So the priest gets priested. -3 doesn't matter, but you'll use a... whatever. Really? So what? You're gonna buff my... He's just doing it to... Oh, wait, what?
Your strength never falters.
Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, that was at least an epic way to lose. What the fuck is that? You turn his health down to 2 to take it over, and then... This is the kind of experience we get at bronze rank 10, and I'm not even complaining about it. Okay, dude. I don't really have any rotational condition here. I just kind of want to do this. Or is there something maybe I could change about it? What else would I want in here? All I want to play is Renounce, so I could care less, but... What is like a high-cost demon maybe that I'm missing? This is okay, but I don't really want it. None of these are good. Like, how can there be so few good high-cost demons? That was at least an instance without Renounce that was still pretty entertaining and actually pretty good. If it wasn't for that very specific play. Although I guess he could have done it with other things too, and it would have worked pretty well, but... Or maybe not. Because the attack would have to be specifically down to 2. So that's another way they can punish you for overcommitting. Not by even clearing the board, but by taking it over. What a combo.
Nazoth versus Gul'dan.
Your souls shall be mine. All eyes shall.
Yeah, that we would want to mulligan. Anyway, I never really used this guy Crawl before. Never really liked it. Okay, we might play for Jiraxis then instead, but let's see if we get to that point. Or we'll even end up discarding him.
Legions I command. Extraordinary. The multitudes cry out.
I'm trying to save the rest of his voice lines, or I'll use them when it sort of feels appropriate. Okay, now we'll just go for Renounce anyway. This is kind of bad. We could have a fun game where we get to play Jiraxis. I should just craft all the Warlock cards that are usable in this format, but you know, you would think I would have most of them anyway. Let's actually not even bother with that. You see how much I embrace fun as much as other people renounce fun, I guess you could say. Is just the fact that we're playing into Malkazar, we're playing into Renounce, we would even have Elise and other stuff like that, which is sometimes good value for what it's worth, but I guess that's good enough. You get to be a demon hunter. It's a way to cuck my fun because you're allowed to give me Death Knight and Demon Hunter. So that shows you that nobody was thinking about Renounced Darkness. So I'm actually bug testing the game, literally. So why do I have so many cards still in there though? I don't get it. Why would this be in there if... What am I missing? Replace your hero power and warlock cards with another classes. But it didn't even do that because it just destroyed the ones I had in my hand, but it kept the ones I had in my deck. So that's one problem with trying to do this. We're going to try to get to Legend with Renounced Darkness. Finally, there's a format that could allow it. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter and Death Knight cards go brr because you get fucked by them. Out of 3 games or 4 games, 3 times of me playing it, twice we get one of the classes you can't even use. So shouldn't you maybe change that interaction? Can I report a bug from in the game? This is just incredible, dude. For all the hype and whatnot around this, like what a fun interaction that was, where I just get to... I would honestly do that. How do you report a Hearthstone bug? Report bug Hearthstone. If you encounter a bug, report it to us. Please log in to submit feedback. I don't really want to do it, but...
That was a mistake.
I mean... Yeah, it was a mistake trying to have fun. That's how Blizzard punishes you for trying to have fun. Literally 2 out of 3 times I get either cucked by the Death Knight or the Demon Hunter. Why would it let you become one if they don't even exist yet, according to the thing, or if you're not allowed to use their cards? I'm not trying to game the system and cheat by using them. I'm just trying to use any other class besides that. What a fucking cuck job. My first time using one of my favorite cards in a long time, and this is how they treat me. And it's not even bugged properly. It's like half bugged because it removes the cards in your hand that would be the other classes, but it doesn't remove the cards in your deck. Right? It only gives you... It still lets you keep those, which that makes even less sense because those are Warlock cards too, so it should basically just destroy your whole deck. It almost makes me worried that Renounce doesn't affect your deck anymore. They somehow changed that, but it doesn't. Your hero power and warlock cards. The way it's written is almost vague. Your warlock cards that I have in my hand or just all of them, period. Even in my collection, it'll disenchant them and craft something else for you. Trying to get this to the higher threshold. Of course, the coin doesn't count, but it almost lets me tap now and then coin out into it. I just love how the heroes change the animations on that stuff sometimes too, on the hero power and whatnot, or even some of the cards. This might actually be a suitable use of it too. We can sort of counter aggro, but discover a card, reveal a minion, adapt it. Summon 3 1/1s. Now normally this would cost like 5, so I'm not taking that much, and his board isn't too intimidating. They cost 3 or less. That could be good value. But I have so many things I can play that I should maybe just flood the board even. Go like this, we'll discover something. After an enemy deals 3 or more, destroy it. Beasts have charge, deal 1. That could actually be good considering, I mean, it could be good even right now. Clear the board, do this, echo. Or I should have, oh fuck. I should have waited and done a combo with that. Can't be targeted, just make a +1/+1. So we have a little bit of removal. The problem with Renounce, obviously, even in its heyday, which was not that good anyway, but is you can burn out of cards really easily because unless cards give you cycling and value and stuff, like this is going to be good for that, then what's going to end up happening is that you don't have enough card draw or you're not going to get anything especially good either. So let's go 3, 4, 5. And we could get Fuegan and Thaddeus both. I forget how you say that. Fuegan, but I'll get the interaction from Malchezaar because it's just gonna work out that perfectly. That's what can be so satisfying. I don't get why the symbol becomes more clear as you have fewer cards. That shouldn't have anything to do with it. Or you're using kind of an incorrect background for this. You should use one of the wild sets. Yeah, you can totally use Nathria cards here. Dormant for 2 turns when it awakens. Reduce the cost of all dragons in your hand by 4. Fine. 5 mana, 5/5. Let's do... maybe do these 2. This is going to, whenever an enemy minion takes damage, destroy it. And it encourages us to really play stuff here. Like, won't we be able to draw because of that? What a great combo that is. It's like you're doing a draft in the middle of a game. Now, we won't get the value of that if he does destroy the web spinners now. So maybe it was an overcommit, but you're doing a draft in the middle of a game and trying to make the best of it, which is a dream come true. It might be my favorite card in the history of card games, period. Because that's just how it... I don't know. It's hard to even explain, but... it's just so transformative, and it's arguably not even that good, but... so all face, it should be very unlikely that he can do anything here. An AoE would be very scary, but... in fact, I don't really have any death rattle protection, though, to be fair. Anything you summon is going to get sniped. Like, what a cool and fun and satisfying way to win. You didn't just lose a bronze 10. You lost to a clown who's using Renounce plus Malchezaar and stuff. That won't even be enough, really. Although it kind of is. But you would never expect this next play. That still won't even kill you, though.
The dragons come.
As long as you don't heal or something. Damn, it will be 1 short of lethal because I don't have enough mana to finish them off with that. It seems like the obvious play, but... or maybe I could do a banana next turn and then that would be enough, assuming that... charge, multi-shot... but yeah, what if I do this plus this? And so if I just do a little bit of damage to you now... or I should have done maybe the hero power. Right, so it seems like a fairly innocuous turn. You would never expect me to have King Crush. Just play around the class cards that aren't even my own classes. How fun. This is unironically very fun. Yeah, deal with the board, but just don't heal. Just don't heal. Yeah, what if you get a fucking Molten Giant or something?
Reporting for duty.
Molten Giant OTK, but you can't really determine that as much. Like, how do you feel losing to a thing like that? Isn't that a recent opponent? Yeah, I deserve a friend request because of what a badass way to win the game. I don't even know if that was the person I was just playing or not. Defeated Elden Stormage, or maybe not. Well, can't argue with that. Now, if he said something actually offensive, then I might unfriend him, but that's perfectly reasonable. Okay, let's try to get another Renounce thing going. It's not even like I'm a big streamer or something that you would want to do it for that reason. So why is he saying it to me? I'm just some random person. You're not going to get any special attention for that. We do have 2 Renounces in there at that. I just enjoy that so much more, right? It's not the outcome, it's how you get there. Let's see how far we can get with Renounce. If I had more time, I would make a whole series out of it and try to get to Legend with it, but I don't know. If I feel really encouraged by his performance. But no, I'm not gonna have enough time. I mean, I've been playing like an hour, 2 hours a week of this shit. Like, I just can't even hardly keep up with anything now. Although I did make time for chess because I was doing a challenge with that, so if only this lasted a couple months. But no, instead next month they'll just do nothing, like where they somehow decide to just not let you play Twist. I'm so confused as to why they did that. It's like, hooray, we get this cool little trip down memory lane format, by which I mean the same thing a lot of people were doing anyway because they just play Wild. It's like when they add hardcore, like, oh, people were doing that anyway, even before the add-on, but especially since the add-on. Like, you don't need these gimmicks, you could just do it in the first place, but nobody has that imagination, or nobody decides to take it upon themselves to use something that isn't optimal or meta. They'll just all use the same thing mindlessly. If we can withstand this epic early game barrage, we'd be in good shape, but the problem is basically that I don't even have Renounce, so... And now it gets to the point where you don't even want Renounce. We can kill that with the Dread Infernal, and now we could make some epic comeback. But I don't really have any healing, so the only way I'm going to do it is through either Jiraxis or whatever I get from Renounce, which there's a 20% chance that Renounce could fuck you over and give you Demon Hunter cards or Death Knight cards, by which I mean no cards. That is a very, very silly interaction that I almost can't believe, but why am I not surprised that I would be the one to discover that? I'm sure people know it, but probably hardly anybody even uses Renounce because, oh, it's not meta, it's not good enough. So this would be fine, actually. Force him to get through that. Most of the stuff is going to kill me anyway if I try to do like the... If I try to do the Infernals. Just let me last like one more turn and then I can do, what? Wait. You could have given it to that. Or wait, you can just kill me. We only lost because we didn't get Renounce. That's what this whole deck is built around, except that has nothing to do with it. I don't know what else you could alter to it that would make it more fun either. Like, Elise has been in there for a long time. Malchezaar has been in there for a long time. I don't know what else. Yeah, put Whizbang in there, but that'll mess the whole thing up because then you can't even use it.
Zoth versus Bran. Who's hungry for what Bran is baking?
Even if I have a good starting hand, I often still mulligan it just for the simple fact that you're able to... yes, of course, the Titan's background to an expansion that we can't even play with in this mode. That's such a weird way to do it. Like, at least in Wild, it makes sense because in Wild, you could play as the newest expansion too. But in this mode, you can't. So shouldn't it be showing only the backgrounds that are actually relevant to it? Yeah, let's just play... I mean, I'd like to dig for Renounce, but I guess we may as well just play for value for now. Makes no sense that the Fellstalker does that either. Or I guess it's not even a Fell Hunter that you would think, oh, it should have something to do with magic, but... We'll just go face versus face against a Hunter of all things. The time when the 6-5 on turn 3 is actually kind of a big deal. And might be hard for him to deal with. Cthulhu, come on, Cthulhu Hunter. I always didn't like the design of that. It was a very contrived insular mechanic, obviously, but I'm gonna take my chances just going face the whole time. It'll make him worry, at least that he has to worry about it more than I do. Yeah, see, make a hunter trade in, and then you know you have the psychological edge. That's different in the fact that he gives +3/+3 instead of +2/+2. I don't really know what to do about that, though, exactly. I feel like I haven't seen the gold animation of that too much. Okay, that's a good recovery for him. Very weird hunter deck. We could just ignore it for now, which is very dangerous. Again, I just don't have any healing in this deck at all. Unless you count what health Draxus can potentially give you, or the armor, or the whatever you could potentially get from Renounce. The problem is I'm just not even getting Renounce, so that's kind of not fun. I'm mulliganing for it. I'm tapping for it. Gol'dan I can never argue with. Oh, I should try my anti-spell stuff in this format too, but I guess I can't because a lot of the good ones come from Gul'dan anyway. There's so many cool ideas I want to do. Maybe each episode should be a different one. Maybe next time will be Iron Juggernaut, then the next time will be the anti-spell, then we'll try some other thing, explore on Goro, but that's presumably not in here because, right, if Elise isn't in here, then obviously I can't even remember what their statting was, but I feel like it definitely wasn't that. Wasn't it like 4 or 5 or something? How could they have changed it that much? When the power creep comes with any attempt to, yeah, go back to the old days and play all these fun, cool expansions, all these old cards. But it's not good enough to use those cards anymore, so we have to jack them out. So it doesn't feel like the old authentic experience at all anymore. Doesn't that sort of defeat the whole purpose? Go back and use all these old cards that are way stronger than they used to be. So we're getting pretty low. Almost feels like I just do need some defensive healing type stuff with this deck. That's the one thing that's missing. We could use a weird kind of Shadow Flame here. Or that would be great, but if I could actually get it off. Right, like what if I just... What if we do that to buy a turn and then we can do Draxus with the cover of it? I don't know for sure whether that's going to stay or not. Yeah, they should have buffed him too. That would be fun. Make him like a 9/9 or a 9/10/14. Actually, he would have done me a solid there, though. If he kept me alive, because he wouldn't have had enough mana to do that. Okay. Kind of a bit surprising. So half of these games, I'm not even getting to play it. That's the whole thing. Or rather, even when I do get to play it, you get this clown interaction of just not even being able to use the cards because they don't exist.
Nazoth versus Liadrin.
My blade burns with
Lotheb, I almost forgot he was in here.
Eyes shall
Okay, so that wouldn't be such a bad starting hand, but I don't even want it. You do have 2 copies of it. Okay, so now we just have to tap like crazy. The coin kind of helps, not because the coin is going to turn into something, but because you can do a turn 3 tap into a coin into Renounce, which is obviously not a good play either, but just don't rush me down too hard, dude. Okay, that actually helps me. Just tap for a couple turns, then turn 4, I guess we could do it. We could tap and combo it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll have 7, 8, 9, 10.
reporting for duty.
Not that you always have to do it in such a perfect way, but because of the sort of skewed value of it, sometimes it can be difficult. Otherwise, playing hand lock, except we're doing something far more suboptimal. I don't know when he was changed to
Multitudes cry out.
now we have to hope that we can play some stuff for 0, let's say. that's actually going to help me. Why am I getting these almost exclusively? Like out of 3 or 4 tries, I've gotten only that. It seems to almost have a bias towards it, or I'm just getting unlucky, obviously. But it's a case where we got some other class once, didn't we? A hunter. Yeah, so it's not like we're guaranteed to get these, but that is a hilarious oversight by them. How... Like, it makes it so that you can't use those cards, but then why allow it to even have that in the possibility of options, like, of what class it can give you? So they accounted for it halfway by not letting you get the card. Like, the other side of the bug could have been that, oh, it gives you Death Knight cards still, and it... What? Or no, that makes sense because it replaces your Warlock card specifically, so... No. Wait, your Hero Power and Warlock cards, but maybe that means I got the Death Knight one twice in a row for the Hero Power, at least, because it doesn't specify that it has to be a Warlock Hero Power. So he's at least having a little bit of fun with it, but I'm not too happy with the way this interaction is working. You try to have fun in Hearthstone in 2023, and this is what you get. I'll just use it in Wild, for fuck's sake, and I'll be able to use Elise too. And I'll get my ass beat only slightly worse than what I'm doing now. I don't know if it'll be like that every time, or they take sort of a month break in between whatever they do.
I must protect the
We do get Renounce. All the rest of the stuff doesn't really matter, but if it's something that can help stall out the early game, maybe I'll use it. Oh shit, they have specific, Nazoth has specific dialogue for that too. Yeah, the Emerald Nightmare, that was actually an expansion idea that was pitched, but instead they sort of fit it into somewhere else. Like the Firelands, or I don't know, the whole lore after Wrath anyway, but... So just tap for a couple turns. Losing the clowns, using Worgen Infiltrator. That he would even kill himself if he cast something. I might have to Hellfire, it might be worth it to do. Basically, we couldn't Renounce next turn, but maybe I won't. Yeah, relying on stuff to be 0 cost is a little bit too optimistic. It'd be very worth it to do it here. And then the turn after that, maybe I could do it. Right, we could tap and Renounce. Or maybe I won't, and I'll just... We could do like the Void Walker and then just do Renounce, period. Or we could do the Void Walker and then tap and then still Renounce. Or we could just ignore it and wait for a little bit. Whatever, we should survive for now at least. Yeah, starting with 0 mana is very interesting. Okay, now it's actually just clowning me. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed to give you this. I'm just getting super unlucky. Like, I just got another class. I think only once though, right? Hunter? I can't even keep track of it now. I'm getting actually clowned by the game. I reported the bug and now they put me on some kind of list where they, oh, I heard you didn't like the bug. Let's try to really get you to test it now. Do you mean this bug where you get a Death Knight every turn? Or does it mean just the fact that you can get them, period? Because it's not like Renounce is an auto-win thing that's going to be so good anyway. But yeah, their solution would be, let's just remove Renounce from play. We finally get to use it, and this is what we get. Holy shit. Yeah, forget about trying to get to Legend, but maybe every episode I'll do like a different kind of fun deck from this era, which clearly you'd be able to use Iron Juggernaut. Clearly you'd be able to use Explore on Goro. And you should also be able to use... maybe some of the anti-spell stuff, but it won't be quite enough to be good. Yeah, at least let me get Renounce, but the second part is actually get something with Renounce that I can actually use. That would be kind of a key pivotal aspect of it. So weird too how it destroys the stuff in your hand but not in your deck. At least then it would be a fully consistent thing. Maybe that would be good for Mecha'thun. If you were able to use that here, it'd be the easiest way to just destroy every card in your deck. So that's why they didn't let you do that, even though it's not. That wouldn't be a legal interaction anyway. Really? Just for the battle cry, you think that's worth it? Wow. Everybody's in love with Cthulhu here. Okay, so next turn we should be able to do it. We'll tap and we'll play it. Yeah, we pretty much only have Warlock cards anyway, so most of the ones that aren't are going to be the legendaries from Malchezaar, but that helps to mix it up. Or sometimes he'll give you Warlock legendaries anyway, but almost like you should put every single Warlock legendary in your deck in the first place to make sure that he doesn't do that. Because we get Druid here. So now we could buff this guy up a little bit. Maybe that would be worth it. Just take out one of these. And, you know, just if you can survive a couple turns, then you can end up in pretty good shape. And some of the stuff will factor into N'Zoth here. Yeah, we'll see a lot of love for the old gods here. We'll see Cthulhu half the time. We'll see decks built around N'Zoth, I'm sure. I saw that somewhere listed, like N'Zoth Warrior, Legend Rank 1. That must be a very good deck. I don't know exactly what you'd be using with it, but you go here, each player draws a card, each player gets a mana crystal. Giving him a card draw could be a bad idea, but whatever. Or here, we'll do this just to get rid of the shield. As if that's really worth it. You have a Leroy finisher setup, but gotta wait on that. That's one less for each beast you summon this game. I mean, it is still a 6-mana 6/6 for what it's worth. I'd almost be willing to just do this, but maybe I shouldn't. But maybe I should. I don't know. I don't kind of like the position I'm in right now. Lose a mana crystal then, which I don't really want to do. But it almost doesn't matter one way or the other. Going to die eventually. Okay, so now nothing's really very good value. I might have to do Leroy just to trade into something big if they have something.
None may steal our
Tagging held to 3, not bad. Yeah, that's not too crazy. Does that mean they're setting up for some kind of lethal though, I wonder? You could do this and you could do... I wouldn't be able to kill actually either of those, so now I'm not even sure. I'm very worried about my health situation. Deal 2, so that would be okay at least. So at least we know we can't die here, even if they were setting up for lethal, but obviously not. They just did a random Eviscerate to face, like any good player would do. Summon something big, I can just trade in with Leroy. But here we're using Lotheb in a very defensive way. Okay, not too crazy. We won't get to the point where we can actually play N'Zoth, or even what we get from N'Zoth won't be that good, so. Discover minion, discover spell. I think I'd rather discover like a taunt or something. Whenever you play, when your opponent plays a card, remove the top 3 cards of your deck. I mean, it might be worth that to do that in some way, but I won't. Kill that. Kill that. Kill one of these, so it barely hurt me at all to do that. Kill it with the weapon in the well. I love cards like Fell Reaver that can go from 100 to 0 so fast, though, like that Hydra, where it does like 3 damage to you every time it takes damage. So they use Defile and clear the board, and it hits you like 5-6 times. And does like 18, whatever, 21 damage.
Oops, I broke a diamond.
So what could we potentially do? Nothing is gonna have taunt. That's the only problem with the situation. He doesn't have very many cards, so it might even be worth it to do that. That was one of my AoE buffs for the druid evasive deck. That one was even worse than the mage one. Sort of the anti-spell metric. They're not actually presenting too much damage, but that's okay. That would have been very nice to have, but I probably still wouldn't even gotten to that point. Well, the whole beauty of Renounce is it can give you like multiple copies of the same thing, like 4 or like more than you could normally have, I feel like. I should know that, being such a fan of it, but yeah, I wouldn't have even gotten to the point where I got Tree of Life, though. That's the thing. And we don't get to play N'Zoth either, so the pace of I need something maybe more to just last out, and then I could do Renounce later, but that's no fun either. I kind of like to do it right away. Kind of underwhelming, to be honest. And this is one of those rare cases where I'm not doing any sort of condition or format with it. It's sort of just, we're just trying it. Let me actually look through what would be some of the things you can and can't use. Like, I'm sure you can use, obviously, Iron Juggernaut. I'm sure that you can use Explore Ungoro, obviously. Or no, you can't. But how? Or no, it makes sense because you can't use the lease. Or like, can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. How many things like that are there going to be? There's very few, actually, so it's hard to sort of build around that. Or do we have the Trog guy? So you could still make it work. You could fill in some of the other evasive things with just that. That seems pretty fun. Yeah, I'll actually make sort of a schedule out of that. So the first week will be Warlock. So we'll do Warlock Renounce, which we're doing right now. Then we'll do the Iron Juggernaut, some sort of thing with the Warrior. And then we'll do some sort of evasive thing with the Mage or Druid. And so that would allow me to basically do the sort of stuff I was doing anyway. Like, that's what I always do in Wild regardless, or at least I've done it a lot over the years. Let's just try to get on a good streak with this. I have been cocked in a pretty unfair way, I will say. Just with the simple fact that we've gotten so many... so many, when you try to have fun with Hearthstone in 2023, with getting Death Knights, like two or three times. We got Demon Hunter ones. Come on, why is it taking so long? This is such a bizarre thing that they got it half right. You shouldn't be allowed to use these classes, but we still allow you to use these classes regardless. Like, make up your mind then. Yeah, we'll do a Justicar. Oh shit, it crashed. We'll do a Justicar combo with the Demon Hunter and the Death Knight hero power, and that would just put it over the edge, even though both of those upgrades suck. Or like nobody ever bothered to look at what they did. Because there was no reason to, or at least they wouldn't use Justicar of all things to do it. It's too bad. I do wish I had more time. We could maybe try to, but reasonably, I shouldn't even make that commitment. I'm usually pretty honorable about trying to, you know, like, oh, we have to get to Legend with Renounce this month, or we have to delete my whole collection. But I wouldn't make that unless I... You know, like September, okay, I'll get it in Wild for the first time last year, and I did. But with this, I just feel like it's not... I'd be willing to at least try. Like, okay, let's see how far we can get with it. But I'm already getting kind of hard stuck. Or I'd have to come up with something better that helps you just survive. And then, like, I almost need a lot of neutral cards in there that you'll be guaranteed to have. And then those will just help you last out, like the heal bot and stuff. Or is it just not going to let me play now? Because I was bugging out for a second there, wouldn't let me log in. Get all this shit. Once we get up to rank 50, obviously I will get that track just to get Sargeras. If I wasn't so into playing Warlocks at this moment, I might not care as much, but I mean, it's kind of hard not to appreciate that. Yeah, what a badass effect for him to have. I've said it before, I'll say it a million times. Just the idea of having summoning 2/3/2 imps, making the portal. Like, I'm not saying it's not a good effect or good value, but it's not an interesting enough effect, at least. Disenchant all this, keep it very pure for Warlocks only. Ironic, we could renounce darkness in the middle of a game, but not in my collection itself. We commit to it hardcore. Some sort of weird, sadistic, masochistic tendency, like we love being a Warlock just so we can subvert being a Warlock for something else. And trap ourselves in this sort of identity-confused state of being. Okay, we'll leave that, although was that gold? Was it this one? No. All right, let's just try to do the best we can with this. And like I said, maybe each time I'll just try a different, each episode I'll just try a different one of these sort of very fun decks. Which I'd like to just play in Wild again, but maybe here you'll actually have a better, or objectively you'll have a much better chance here. So I'm actually surprised I'm doing so badly. Like, even as bad as Renounce is, or even as bad as any of my other ideas are, these sort of fun themed decks and gimmicks, it wouldn't make sense that you'd be doing this bad. This is almost how bad I normally do in Wild anyway, so forget about even the rank. Okay, having two of them is kind of pointless though, but and before he does something to make me somehow discard the first one though. I should almost play it normally and not commit over hard to it, right? You should play for the early game and then survive to the point where you can play it, even if it means you don't have as many cards in your hand at the time.
The legions I command.
So we could do the imp first, then cover it up with the Voidwalker. I could coin out both. It just makes you drag it out so long that you'll end up winning the game without even ever using it, which I don't necessarily like to play that way, but let's put him back on his heels and force him to deal with what I'm doing. It'd be interesting to actually see how long have I played Hearthstone in my life, because it's got to be one of my most played games ever. It must at least be easily over way over 1,000 hours. I always just use that as a baseline. Like, what games have I played the most? It's in terms of the raw hour count. WoW probably, but again, even then you're considering multiple expansions. But between WoW Classic, Wrath, and BC, I've played easily thousands of hours. Hearthstone, I've easily played 1,000 hours. The NBA 2K games, at least collectively, I've played 1,000 hours. And then maybe Skyrim, I've played obviously over 1,000 hours. Those would be some of my most played ones. I can't think of anything else over 1,000 really. Chess, obviously, but that almost doesn't count because it's a fucking board game. And that wouldn't have been the case until like just recently. Now what I'm trying, or I should have just hit that with the Voidwalker. I guess that plays around certain AoEs and stuff, but I'm gonna use Starfall and the Voidwalker will survive. I just have to get this to a better threshold to actually make this worthwhile. Right, so the best way to win with Renounce is to not actually play Renounce, or to thaw it out as long as you can. So everybody has this very unique, interesting deck idea, which is to just use fucking N'Zoth all day long. How exciting. I guess I don't even really care about that too much, but that probably wasn't even worth it. I should have just kept going face.
The ancient one calls.
That's pretty well statted. I always like that 4 mana at 4/10 or whatever. The game's like +6 health if N'Zoth has such and such value. He will do that, even though it arguably is much better value not to do it. Yeah, it has like a really strong bias towards giving you multiple cards of the same thing, basically. We get that down to our hero power threshold, unless he heals it or buffs it or something, we should be fine. I like these two little arcane missiles we have. Oh yeah, I even asked for him too. His statting is just so attractive, like 4 mana, 4/10. I almost don't remember him having taunt. You could do the missiles. I'm not sure that it would be entirely worth it. But I might even miss that, so I shouldn't even bother. Let's do... I have to do the hero power. That's 100% necessary. What if I do this and I do this? Now, his attack values on the board aren't really too crazy, even if his... I can't do anything about them for now. Alright, here we go. Another one. Did they really add the taunt? Because I swear it... I think that was the whole point of it, is that it didn't have taunt, but it was still very well statted. And if you could give it taunt, that would be very good. Or now what? They never had fucking locations back then. You're choose... What is going on? This obviously must be Caverns of Time shit, but a lot of stuff is marked as Caverns of Time that isn't actually it. Guess we could do this. When a friendly minion dies, blah, blah, blah. We could whittle this down a bit. So the arcane missiles could be good, but it's also a little bit expensive for what we're dealing with here. Like, we're in sort of top deck mode, hoping that we get something good, but it's not even up to me, or I don't even know what is in there. Could be very hard to deal with. Like, you kind of just have to hope you get a good result from it. Which, that was not particularly great. Get rid of that, get rid of that. So you have 8, 12, 13, 14, 15. Would an old god really let mana fucking stop them? He'd still get a flame strike or something. He doesn't know whether this is ice block or not. Renounce darkness, deck, enchantment. It never used to say that for every single card, did it? I'm obviously in a very bad spot, but all I can hope for is an AoE. I can get another Blizzard. Yeah, it seems to have a bias where it's giving you like 3 or 4 copies of the same thing, or at least like 2 of them together at the beginning. There's always these scenarios where you just get a ton of the same thing. It could just be incidental, but I just remember that happening a lot. 4, 8, 12. Okay, I'm dead.
Time waits for no one.
Or that's always like letting your poker face slip. You shouldn't do that because that lets them know it's not ice block. Not that they would have stopped anyway, but like sometimes you reveal your hand to your opponent by by emoting to them. Imagine if somebody loses a tournament like that. They just emote and they're trolling, and then it ends up telling their opponent something, and then it informs them of their strategy. It's surprisingly, I haven't enjoyed Arena at all the last many times I've done it. I guess you just have to be more ingrained in the meta to really enjoy it, but...
Nazoth versus Tyrande.
I cannot find eternal rest, and neither will you.
All eyes shall be opened.
Almost make more sense if all eyes should be closed, though, because like you're threatening to kill them. I just love how he's got a raid boss battle going on in his fucking picture. That's how badass he is. Although his voice is sometimes like he's trying too hard.
The legions I command.
Summon a taunt minion from your deck. That's pretty good.
Greetings from the old days.
Welcome, my devoted chosen.
Ready for action.
Oh, here we go. That's spectacular. And now you gotta actually give me Renounce. I don't even need to do that for the buff sake. Yeah, sometimes I get too enamored with trying to fill out the hand at the beginning. Like, we could totally win this just with Jiraxis. We should almost dictate it like that. If we get Jiraxis to start, like, I mulligan for Renounce no matter what. But if we get Jiraxis either in our opening hand or when we mulligan, then we have to play. We play just normally, and we play for that. We don't try to Renounce. Or if we get Renounce first, we play for Renounce. But if we get both, then I guess I get to choose, or I can still play both, because once I play Draxus, I can still play Renounce after that, assuming I would want to. But then it fucks up your hero power, so it defeats the whole purpose. That's the problem only I would have. You have Draxus out there, you're gonna win. You're summoning a 6/6 Infernal, but no, it's not good enough. I want to have Renounce too, just because it's fun. Yeah, that's not too crazy. In fact, it makes it feel kind of stupid, but like I'd be 1 damage short of actually being able to kill it. I maybe should have Siphon Souled it, but against a priest of all things, it's suicide. Yeah, Lothab, like we just can't even get to the point where we can do anything. Could use Siphon Soul on it, doesn't seem worth it. He's gonna trade in, and he's not gonna heal it. It almost makes it worth it to, I don't know. It doesn't trade in very favorably. At least you'd have to give up both.
Overwhelmed.
Thank you.
Starting the up.
That's not a particularly notable line. I like the greeting. My devoted chosen one. The multitude's crowd I kind of like. That's part of a reference to like what, I mean, just how the Void Lords and stuff work. But that one guy says it in Harbinger, Skyrus, and fucking Arcatraz. I am but one of infinite multitudes. After you summon a minion, you give a +1 health. None of this really matters too much. That'll be fine. They kind of made it unclear which cards are actually new for this. Like, I obviously should know offhand, but it could just be, oh, some of these are just obscure cards that I've never seen before. But they put that stupid hourglass thing on a lot of these cards that actually aren't new. Just because they maybe want to let you use them even if they don't fit into the sets that they're doing. I could do like both of my Hellfires if you really want to play like this. Or I could just do that.
Slay the Kirachi.
Yeah, that'll be pretty good. This is pretty good. Exactly as planned was the taunt thing. So now if we can just get Draxus out there, I would never lose with that, especially against a priest and before they use Destroy Evil or whatever the zero cost thing is. Destroy Evil is like a magic card. That's not a big deal. Of course, it has to be your other demons. That almost doesn't seem worth it, but I guess I'll still do it. But that'll put it within the threshold of being able to be killed by that at least. Basically now, I have 7 health. I'm almost baiting him, try to waste all your shit. And then, you know, the 5 armor is kind of weird that they chose to do it there. I almost like it as a novelty that that one shouldn't have it. Because that, you know, that was the OG one, and then no other hero cards existed until the Death Knight ones came out for the Frozen Throne, and those ones all had armor. So that's how you could kind of respect it. Like, it didn't need armor. But they gotta ruin everything with power creep. That's the whole point of old cards, is that they're old. And imagine in real life them doing all that shit. They would have to reprint it every time, and you'd have to rebuy it too. Or they maybe would give you free copies in that case, but... But wait, it doesn't put your health back up to 15 though. So that kind of ruins the whole essence of Draxus. Have I not used it since then, or did they change it again? They gave him the 5 armor, but they also made his health go up to 15, I feel like. Now they removed that. Well, that makes him almost useless then, because so often you rely on that effect. Whatever, we're doing that mainly just for the healing because I can't, you know, I have another one too, 8 health. Yeah, against most classes though, this would be garbage. This is almost the perfect way to deal with the priest though.
Take this time to consider your
I'm gonna legendary minion. What's he gonna be? A return, not very good. Or it could be some crazy taunt. Visit a historical epoch, shuffle another into your deck. That's kind of disappointing. When did they make it like that? Because I swear I just used it not too long ago, or maybe it was a while ago. Let's try to at least get the card back, because next time I'm gonna move on and try a different. You can't really say, oh, like, haha, look, you're playing a bronze, because it doesn't matter. Like, I don't play enough for that to matter. Even if I'm winning every game, I would still barely get to, like, gold by the end of the month, because that's just how little I play. But, like, I don't want to play in casual either. So it's just a token gesture. It doesn't really matter. Whenever I want to actually play, you know, for Legend or something, I'll do it. But I'm kind of... I'll try to do that eventually. I'll get Legend rank 1 once just for the fuck of it, but... I would have to have an infinite amount of patience to do that. I'm not even diminishing, like, it is hard to do, obviously, but it's just sort of like, it's so repetitive at that point where you'd still be using the same deck and making like minor little iterations, which can be fun, but it's just not the sort of thing I would want to do in 1 month's time. It wouldn't be a big deal if this was like the only thing I did, or like I did it every day, but I typically don't like to do that. As long as we survive the early game, should be fine. We have double Hellfires, but just please give me Renounce, although in a way we'd have a better chance of winning if I just didn't use it. We're actually gonna have to Hellfire that, but I won't even be able to. Or if he buffs them next turn, I'll be screwed. The Twisting Nether is a good card design because it stood the test of time. It was a good card originally. It was always good through the years. It's still good now. So, you know, it's just a case where 8 mana, destroy everything. Like, it just made sense that they didn't need to buff it to keep it relevant. So you played right into my AoE, even though my situation isn't that good. I don't always play Malagos, but when I do, it was in that first time and only time I played as the OTK deck of the fucking... whatever it was. Okay, we'll do that, even though I don't really want to. Maybe I should have tabbed there. I should just play for Draxus again. So they removed... I swear it wasn't at the same time. I swear they added the armor, but they kept the 15 health. Then they got rid of the 15 health. Now he doesn't even work as a minion. Like, if you were to play him... right? Like, sometimes you could play him out of the hand as a minion, and it would be a 315. I mean, I don't want to do Hellfire, but I'm getting low, and of course, the kind of deck that just has no healing. Even the one heal I thought I had, they cucked from me too. Just the fact that it's like, you know, it doesn't actually do that. That's so weird. I guess I'll just let him keep beating on me. I would take the 3 damage anyway, but I don't like leaving that around. Unlikely he'll be able to kill me, but we have to rely on this taunt to save us. It's only a 5/8 too, so it's not really that well statted. This is the only defensive capability we're gonna have. So the best we'll get is 5 armor out of this, and we're not even getting Renounce at all. Not that I want it now, but it could help healing wise. Okay, that's pretty great. Right, I had Black Crystal Potion too, but I should almost just ignore those. In fact, I should definitely ignore it with that. Whatever you want to do with that stupid boss, you can just have it. So we could play Draxus, we'd be off to good shape, but we actually wouldn't be, because then we're still going to be so low health. Oh, that kind of ruins it. Why did they do that? I'd rather give up the armor any day of the week, but the whole point of him is the 15 health. Which, of course, in some scenarios was a bad thing, because then it would limit your health to only 15 and you can't go higher. Or, like, it can't... It would reduce it to 15 as well, so for whatever that's worth. So just keep ignoring that shit for now. We're going to end up just killing him with Draxus's Claw, the weapon, rather than any other long-term benefit. Yeah, here's the secret. You'll always win if you don't use Renounce at all, or if you don't get it. That was one of my first favorite arena stories. Is like we had I had like 3 Iron Bar Protectors in there, and I top ticked them all in a row to win a game that I had no business winning otherwise. There's some other way I can get rid of this. I could just clear the board, but I don't know. What if I do this and then I still trade in? Then I wouldn't have to do much of anything. We'll keep the taunt around. The reason why that play was so boneheadedly bad is because I don't know. I had nothing else really to play along with it, is the point. There's 2 health left. I could use Shadow Flame, but then I have to be able to summon something that's actually going to help me here. Or maybe the 5 armor from this should be the difference. Or actually, I just win. I even predicted it that I would win with the fucking Claw. So that's the real value of Jiraxis, just that he gives you a 3/8 weapon. I'm actually very curious about that. I want to see, let me see. Jiraxis hero card. Let's see when they made all these changes. Wild duels. Trivia gallery. Where is it? Patch changes. So added. Flavor text now reads: Trifling gnome, your arrogance will be your undoing. Battle cry: destroy your hero. Previously destroy your hero, replace him with Jiraxis. Battle cry: destroy your hero, replace it. Oh, replace him. Okay, misgendering, obviously. Winter Veil emote added. Feast on your soul. WoW emote added. Sorry emote no longer available. No longer triggers Repent, Sacred Trial, and Snipe. There's now a hero card grants 5 armor. No longer, maybe it was at the same time, but I definitely remember it being different. No longer sets your maximum health. That's so fucking stupid. That shows you how little I've really used him as of late. I'll always have him in here, but I'll play, you know, I'll play Renounce or something else weird, or I won't even get to the point where I can play him. Yeah, that really makes him totally garbage. I can't even use him then. You have to go so far out of your way to have healing and stuff. This was a card that was in the classic game, and you're trying to say, oh, now it's too strong. It wasn't a buff then. It was sort of just a bait. So I won't ever mulligan Jiraxis, or I'll just play it more normally. And if we happen to get Renounce, we happen to get it. But I'm just not getting it ever. And all these self-destructive cards really take a toll when you're playing a class like a Hunter. It ends up kind of paying for itself because you're going to trade in for something that would have done that much damage anyway. But it's not too good. Ron's head, I would sometimes do that with the Iron Juggernaut deck just for the fuck of it, but I wouldn't often get the effect. Or imagine if Malkazar creates a whole theme for us this game. He'll give us only legendary mechs, so we will be able to potentially do the effect, but it would still be too hard to get them all out together. Yeah, that is so hilarious. I haven't played a single Titan yet, I don't think. Or maybe I did in some other weird way. I discovered one or something, but... Or no, I was playing the one as Priest, actually. Okay, 3/3, not a big deal. All these kind of low value cards that we get to see now for the first time in a long time, because nobody would ever use them otherwise. Not like they would have the will to use it in wild just for the fun of it. But that is sometimes how power creep works in such a direct sense. Like, it's not even that they could make a cool theme deck with all these unique effects. They just have better versions of the same effect anyway, right, from other cards. So why would they even bother? Pretty jacked out hand, but just nothing I can do. Give me Renounce now and I'll still do it, although it might be questionable. I mean, I don't want to keep doing just don't beat Jiraxis, although Jiraxis is apparently garbage now. I swear to God, I had moments where I played him and I got 15 health plus 5 armor. I 100% remember that. Might have been a bug or something. They might have done it like kind of at the same time, but I swear those changes weren't exactly together. I mean, I'm just gonna die because I can't heal. So even what vague hope of Jiraxis saving me wouldn't even happen here. Now I could play the taunt, who's been winning me games single-handedly just because people seem to have a lot more trouble getting through it here than normally. I have to hope and pray that happens again, but I think it's very unlikely. Or like the 5 armor is gonna have to save me, but yeah, that was a dumb design decision. You didn't need the 5 armor, but you didn't need to change the other effect either. You should have just kept it the same. Which I guess I already kind of knew that they had changed it, but so that'll give him, he can trade in, he can hit me for 4, so I'll still have 1 left. And I could do Twisting Nether, but even that would just, no, kill it with the, fuck. That would still kill me with the little 1-2 dinky taunt, or he'll kill me with the hero power too. Wow. But yeah, Warlocks don't resign. They tap themselves to death with that. That is really what happens with the old gods too. They never die unless the planet itself dies. So that's why Cthulhu was just in like a weakened state when you fought him. It's a good way to justify why you'd be able to kill him at that early stage in the lore. Right? Because some of these things don't even make sense. Like, how would you be able to, you know, you'd never be able to beat Sargeras no matter how strong you think you've become. But you don't really beat him. You just sort of seal him away. You don't even really fight him. Like, he's too goddamn big. His sword is the size of fucking Silithus or whatever. So how are you supposed to even have that fight happen?
Nezoth versus Rexa.
You have to be in some kind of vehicle. It's like one of those Dragon Oculus type gimmick mechanics. Like even Deathwing was kind of like that, where he's just too big and you're like fighting parts of his body or something. I haven't gotten too many chances to play Mal'Ganis, actually. I heard you like Mal'Ganis, so I'll play the hero Mal'Ganis so I can play the card Mal'Ganis so I can use the something Zola the Gorgon and copy it so I can play it all over again. And then I'll use the Mal'Ganis hero card, which there isn't even one, but there almost should be. But yeah, Sargeras shouldn't just be a hero portrait. It should have been a hero card that does something for you. Let Warlocks have even more cool stuff since they always get everything. Like, calling Sargeras a Warlock is, I think, kind of a little bit disingenuous. Like, yes, he kind of is, but he's kind of a lot of things in one. That's not the first thing I would think of, but it makes sense. Like, what, is Archimonde a Warlock too? Is Kil'jaeden a Warlock too? Like, they're just demons who have a lot of different powers. Archimonde is almost more like a warrior because he just goes out there and fucking destroys shit, but not really because he uses magic a lot too, but it's just hard to kind of define. Kil'jaeden I can accept because he's kind of behind the scenes and manipulating stuff, but Archimonde was more like brute force a lot of the time. The way they portray Archimonde in Warcraft 3 is so badass, but Kil'jaeden is shown as more like, you know, they sort of retcon the strength of Kil'jaeden, I think. He wasn't really meant to be stronger than than Archimon, but he was meant to be just sort of more crafty and intelligent and manipulative and stuff like that. But then they made it seem like, oh no, he's stronger too. Whether it be through the Sunwell or whether it be in the other time you fight him, I don't even know when that is. In Legion or something. They always had like these surprise endings to the expansion, like, you know, you beat Illidan in fucking BC, but then you beat Illidan, but then you basically get to fight Archimon in the Caverns of Time, and you get to fight Kil'jaeden in the Sunwell. That was kind of like a surprise thing that people weren't expecting as just a bonus. So the real final boss of the expansion is Kil'jaeden, not Illidan. That was such a good way to sort of wrap up all the Warcraft 3 stuff. You take out Vashj, Kael'thas, Illidan, Archimon, Kil'jaeden. It was like the Warcraft 3 just nerdgasm experience where they get to give you full fan service and let you experience everything from there. Deal 3. That's actually pretty good. If we can just survive for a bit, that'd be fine. But again, we're not going to have any healing from this. You always want to get like a priest or a druid or just something like that that's going to help you last it out. That's the whole beauty of the first 3 expansions that maybe nobody will ever understand or appreciate. The reason why the expansions after that are bad, at least in terms of lore, maybe they're good mechanically in terms of raids and stuff. I didn't play them, so I can't say. But they're bad in terms of lore only because of the simple fact that they didn't have a base to work off of as well as Warcraft 3. So Warcraft 3 set the stage for Classic. Kel'Thuzad is left behind by Arthas as he goes to Northrend, so that explains the Scourge presence. A lot of the Horde has been established in Durotar and in the Barrens in that area. A lot of those things were set in advance. BC, obviously, Illidan was left off, Vashj, Kael'thas, all that kind of stuff. You know, at least you got to experience some stuff with some of the other demons and all. So all that stuff was kind of laid out for you. And then Wrath, obviously, was also set up by Warcraft 3, Arthas, Northrend, everything like that. So it's just kind of weird that they wouldn't see the value of they wouldn't see the value of it for having Warcraft 3 even just for that reason. Like, oh wow, it's such a cash cow for us, we're not even going to prioritize making that. The same way that Steam was such a cash cow for Valve, so they never bothered making Half-Life 3. That's a very on-point analogy, in fact. That's the real reason why. It's not, oh, we didn't have the creative inspiration, or we didn't feel like doing it, or we didn't want to ruin it. We wanted to make sure we did justice to it. No, it's just that we're loading our pockets with this other game, the $15 a month subscription fee from WoW, or the, I'm so fucking dead. Or the, obviously, all the cuts that they get from Steam, so they just don't even care at that point. All I wanted to do is basically get the card back. We have heard some of his voice lines here, but I almost can't remember them. Thank you is just thank you, so that's kind of not anything special. That's like, you're my devoted one. Hello, devoted one. That's okay. The multitudes crowd is okay. I can't remember what the oops one was. I kind of like to rate them, basically. We need 2 more wins. I would like to get them here. We failed last month to even get the card back. Somehow.
Versus Garrosh.
I love that stretch where we didn't see any warriors on the ladder for like a super goddamn long time. It's only fitting. Oh shit, I love these lines. Just all these in-character references, all the work they put in. League of Legends is actually pretty good about that, despite not really having as much ingrained lore. They have like a lot of character quotes that they sort of talk to each other. If they know each other, they have some sort of relation. Yeah, like praising the lore building of a game that doesn't even have any, really. Like, okay, this isn't too big of a deal. Or like, why would you even do that? Like, maybe you just would have assumed I would have traded, but I could have still hit face and just tried to figure it out. Presumably you'd have a way to finish it off. Okay, fuck. Of course, the other cruel taskmaster. Okay, we can play both of these, which even what we discard isn't that big of a deal. For some reason, I thought this guy had taunt, actually, so that's almost like the zoom in from Magic, or no, it's Pokemon, where like I'm looking at the card and then something happens with it, so it zooms in on its eyes or something, and like a jump scare moment. Getting jump scared by a digital turn-based card game by virtual paper. Holy shit. Okay, his deck looks like trash, but who knows? Have at least 4 minions. I'm just gonna play it for the raw value, clearly. Okay, I don't know why so many people are using Worgen Infiltrator. You could just say it's low quality decks, but it's almost like they're going for something with it, which I don't understand. Okay, see, these I'll just play as raw value. I don't even mind that. It's better than nothing. Look how many times we're not getting Renounce. It's just absurd. I'm even mulliganing for it a lot of the time. But I think it's in there. If I get a chance to play it, I'll play it. But most of the time, it's not been too good to me. It's fun, or actually, it hasn't been not only good to me, but it hasn't even been fair to me. Just like giving me Death Knights and Demon Hunters and shit.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
Those are the moments you stream for, I guess. Like, you wouldn't believe what happened in my first time playing this twist mode. I got cucked so hard on Renounced Darkness that I got like 4 times in a row Death Knights and Demon Hunters. It's just so stupid. Okay, we're both pretty low on cards, but at least my health is in an okay spot. Will he really be able to deal with all of this? Man, I can't believe it took me that long to either realize or really get upset about the Jiraxis thing. I swear to God, there was a time where it did both. Which, again, I don't even... Well, now I don't want it because I don't have enough cards to even do it. Nor would it be that good value. Now I could just do Jiraxis, I guess, if we get it. One of the best health positions to be in. For now, obviously 7-7 instead of 7-5, which I don't even really... You know, you could do that. Which I wouldn't have had to do. I could have just done the other guy instead, but... Maybe I should have, because now you might summon something that this would have been a better target for. But like the majority of damage I would have taken is going to be from my own taps and my own minions and stuff. Even though Warriors is one of my favorite classes in the history of the game, it's been such a joke in Arena most of the time. It's been so bad in a lot of other contexts too. There'll always be certain control decks or weird things that it does well, but for the most part, it's been actually kind of... That'd be interesting to see, like, what classes have performed overall the best. Not just, like, the very highest level, but just overall. Like... on a consistent basis. I do feel like Warrior would be towards the bottom. Certainly in Arena, they've been almost always shit, it feels like. Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate, actually. That almost seems like a pointless play because, yes, if it gets hit, we get a 6-6, but we could have just played the 6-6, so... I don't see what the point is. We could hit this and then Shadow Flame with that once we get it. We could, yeah, combo Hellfire plus Shadow Flame. Okay, that is at least helpful because now we can do that. I guess that's really the only thing to do. Seems weird, but I guess I'll just wait, go in top deck mode. Tapping there probably isn't the best idea, although you almost have nothing to lose. This is a case where they really just don't let you... If I can just survive, I could be in good shape. But how many big things is he gonna have? As much as I'm clowning warriors, this is the one context in which they can kind of be good, but he's just a wannabe priest. Warrior wearing robes. I can still do it if he just lets me get one turn here off. It's a very bad turn for him, actually. He should have just summoned something a little bigger. Now, between the taunt and maybe even Renounce, although I wouldn't want to do Renounce, we should be able to survive it. It's just such an awesome thing to think about with the original game. Like, I almost didn't appreciate how, you know, it was just such a fun mechanic, but how good it obviously was. But yet it was still somehow not overpowered, because obviously getting to that point to be able to play it and get that out there wasn't always the easiest thing to do. Although it was arguably a little bit busted at that point. So they actually made it weaker with the 5 armor, because the 15 health thing is so flexible. Sure, it can hurt you sometimes and bring your health down to there and cap it out of there, right? Like if you have more health, but it could bring it up. You have 1 health and it heals you for basically 14. It was just such a cool effect. They completely ruined it, obviously. Yeah, here you like to spam summoning big minions, so here you go. Like 5-6 turns in a row, he just kept summoning 8, this, that, 2 sea giants back to back. His favorite, what's your favorite Elder Scrolls game? Coliseum Manager Simulator. Or is he gonna somehow rush me down still? But he would rather do that instead. So what was the point? You got the brawl that you wanted. We'll do Renounce now, just for the flex of it. I'm just trying to get a card back, dude. Like, I don't even care. 0 to hero. It has been sort of an anticlimactic, but I still won't even get to play Sargeras then, because I might not play this again. I'll just go and do my other, you know, I'll do warrior, I'll do mage, I'll do druid, I'll do other stuff the rest of the month. Give me that fucking card back. We got to play Renounce at least a couple times. A couple times we actually got to play the game afterwards. And that was remotely fun, at least. Just you got to get it really early, but when you do that, it still doesn't do too well, because it's somehow just very sporadic value, or we're getting kind of the wrong classes. And I don't even mean those few times. I mean, even, I don't want to get hunter. You got to get warrior, you got to get priest, you got to get druid, like somebody who at least has capability for heals. Paladin, which is weird to even say warrior in that, but obviously armor, it kind of works that way. Recent opponent would like to be your friend. Wait, didn't I just already accept that? Where he's saying something about Joe Biden defeated Illidan Stormrage. Wait, he's stuck in some sort of limbo. Gold rank 5. Wow, look how good he is. Democrats are going to try and cheat for 2024. I mean, what are you going to do about it, though? A lot of people believe they did in 2020, or at the very least, it was a very unusual circumstance. Like, most secure thing ever, even though, you know, it's a case where it was the most votes on both sides ever. So at the very least, you should vet the process a little more securely. Right? You should always take it more seriously. So that is pretty cool. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to be. We do have the Sargeras card back, obviously. So what I would want to do is obviously get up to the rank 50, but we have plenty of time to do that. 33. Let's see how long it takes me to even do this much. It'll take me the whole season just to get to rank 50. I've certainly never gotten to rank 100. Imagine if I forget about it and we miss it. That would be so fucking stupid. Because I'll be so busy playing the other characters next time. The other classes. Because I still have to buy the tavern thing. Yeah, never even won 12 arena wins. But this is from obviously some other time. Yeah, we do have the golden gul'dan thing, but we don't have the obviously the 1,000 one, which I don't even like a lot of those. I forget what it even is. Which one? MZ, it's this one, right? Or no, it's not.
They know not what.
Or no, it's not that one either. What one even is it? Perform, Nemzi. Oh yeah, that one's okay, I guess. Or some of them you see so much, so it's the whole treetop fruit psychology effect. Like what it took to get it is what makes you value it, even if it looks like shit. So we could get to silver just for the token gesture, but basically we did a lot better when we weren't trying to use Renounce, even as much as I do like it. And that is kind of a clown interaction in all fairness. Like, should I really have to deal with them doing that? Yes, of course. It's a format without those two classes. Perfectly fine with me. But then look at what you did to me in those games.